I don't even know where to start with this review. I stayed at the Hyatt Regency in downtown Toronto. It's located on King Street. The intersection was pretty much King and Blue Jays Way, but if you don't really know where Blue Jays Way is, just think like King and University, King and Spadina-ish. It's in that, between that block, near like Club District, kind of near Hooters, near like Scotiabank Theater, that kind of general area. This hotel area is actually really, really good. It's super, you're like in the heart of downtown, so it's super loud, but in a good way. It's super close to everything, to like transit, to like good restaurants. It's a really good location, so you're really getting your bang for your buck in that sense. This was a Hotwire booking, and this is actually the second time that I've booked through Hotwire, and it's also the second time that I've been screwed over by Hotwire. So in hindsight, I probably will need to rethink doing Hotwire bookings, but let me just break it down for you and tell you exactly why I'm just so unimpressed with this hotel. So the hotel actually looks pretty nice from the outside, especially because it's located on King Street. Right now there's just a lot of construction happening. Traffic is always a mess on King, but the hotel, it has like, you know, it's a small hotel, but they actually do make good use of their spaces. I know they have a couple pools in there, they have restaurants and stuff. So, I mean, like, they actually made use of the space that they've been given, which is really cool. I did have a bit of a hard time finding the hotel, but that's just because I came in not from King Street, but I came on the street that's behind it. So it's kind of like I took a back way, and that was just because since I do know how King Street is, I know how it's always super busy, and I just hated being like walking in crowds, especially when it's freezing cold in wintertime. In case it wasn't blatantly obvious, I'm from Toronto. In this case, I had to stay downtown, which is something I normally do, especially if I'm going out or if I'm going to an event. I am heavily against drinking and driving, so that's why I stay downtown. It's not just like a leisure trip. This is just, I live up north of Toronto, but yeah, was partying / work eventing downtown, which is why I stayed. So first things first was the check-in process. Check-in was actually pretty simple. The staff was just very, you know, like your typical check-in staff. I didn't really expect them to be like over enthusiastic, and you know, it's kind of a good thing, just because sometimes I find it comes across a little fake. So yeah, check-in was fine. Went up to the room, tried one of the keys for the door to my room, didn't work. Tried the other key and also did not work. So I had to call the front, or I went back down to the front desk and I was like, hey, this key doesn't work. Can you figure it out? So they took the key back, and same thing. They tried to reprogram it and they said it was okay. So I went back upstairs, tried again for the door, didn't work. And before I went back upstairs, they told me if it doesn't work again, just, there's this phone you have to kind of like call to the, I guess the facilities or maintenance or something, and just call them and they'll help you out. So I call the number, I say, hey, the key's not working. I need to get in my room, just checked in, what do I do? And they're like, okay, good, hang tight, security's gonna be there soon. So I'm waiting, like, you know, just chilling, because what else am I gonna do awkwardly in a hotel, you know, hallway? I waited for a good, maybe like 15 minutes and no one showed up. So at that point I was like really frustrated because I had to meet my sister for dinner, because I had to quickly eat dinner, change, and then go to this work event thing. So I really like didn't have any time to spare. So I ended up going back downstairs to the desk and I was like, hey, this key's not working, please help me out. Can I get another key? Because obviously the problem was, I guess, with the chip in the key itself. And the guy said,
that's not how it works.
So I was like, okay, so this is how it's gonna work. I've tried twice to get in this room that you just checked me into, and you're gonna give me a new key. Like, I don't understand how, if you see me come downstairs twice, you're not just gonna swap out like a new key. That would kind of tell you that the key card is the problem and not maybe like the system or whatever you did the first time around. I don't know. I honestly don't know, but that was just super annoying. So yeah, finally got a new set of keys. I went up to the room. Again, tried one of the keys, didn't work. Tried the second key, it did work. So I figured, I usually like to check into hotels with 2 keys, just because in the event that one of them gets deactivated by my phone, if it touches, at least I have the other one to fall back on. In this case, my phone was in my backpack and then the keys were just in my hand. So there's no way that there was any kind of like demagnetization that could have happened from the hotel lobby up until my room. So that was just super annoying to have to deal with. And then I had to just be like really overly cautious throughout the whole event to make sure like nothing magnet or nothing like my cell phone or my other credit cards could even touch this key. So that was kind of like annoying to have to deal with, but like I just kind of pushed through it and made it work. So that was that. Check-in process, key, getting into the room, fine. When you get into the actual room, it's quite tiny. And honestly, like it's good for one person and that's all that stayed there was just me. So I was kind of okay with it. But if like it was two people, definitely you'd be climbing on top of each other. And that's something that also happened with a different room that I booked, also like I said, through Hotwire. Same thing, it was super tiny, but I was traveling alone, so maybe that's just kind of like how it works. If they know it's going to be like a one-person booking, they'll kind of just like send you off to the, you know, tinier rooms, as opposed to other hotels I stayed at where if you do a booking to like a third-party site, you tend to just get like whatever's available. So sometimes I'll get like 2 beds, sometimes I'll get like a huge king bed. Yeah, so this time it was a king bed, but it was just the room itself was super tiny. It honestly was nothing special to like write home about. The decor was kind of cool. Like it was red themed, a little dark, which is kind of like my thing, but I felt like it was just very average. Washroom was small. They had like a shower. That was an absolute disaster. During my stay at that hotel, I used the shower 3 times. So the first time was before the event, just came off the subway. I just felt really gross. I wanted to just like, you know, clean off and just, you know, have a nice hot shower because it was absolutely freezing outside. So I get in the shower and I'm like, okay, I'm ready. This is gonna be so good because I'm really big on hotel showers. They're usually really good. Turned the handle for the pipe and tell me why the little nub bit, it came off, like it unscrewed. So I was like, I'm holding this nub in my hand and I'm like, so I guess I'm not taking a shower then? I end up screwing the thing back in, but then I had to carefully like turn the shower handle with the little nub in my hand to make sure it didn't fall off again. So that was just like super annoying. And then I'm cranking up the water as like high as it can go because I need my water to be like, you know, scalding hot. Yeah, it wasn't. The water was like room temperature and that was so frustrating. And kind of like looking back on it, I was thinking that maybe because it was so cold outside that the pipes were like frozen or whatever, and maybe that affected the water temperature. But still, like if you're a hotel and you claim to be like an upscale hotel and you are operating your upscale hotel on King Street in Toronto, which is like one of the more bougie areas, you have no excuse for having cold water. It's just that simple. So yeah, the water was cold, and then I was like, okay, it's fine. I'll just make it work as long as I can get some, you know, nice shower pressure. That'll be cool. So I'm cranking the shower thing even more, and it doesn't get any more powerful. The stream is just still steady. So then I was like, okay, so now I have no hot water and I have no shower pressure. So I'm literally bathing in this like little trickle of like water, and it was horrible. Looking back, I probably look so pathetic just like trying to scrub off and it's just like this little stream of water. And then I kind of look up at the shower. That's another thing. I'm 5'6" and a half, and yes, the half matters. I'm 5'6" and a half, and the shower head was so high that if you want to adjust the settings, so you have like the super like powerful setting and then you have like the nice sprinkly setting or whatever. If you want to adjust that, if you're shorter than me, you're probably not going to be able to reach it, especially in a slippery bathtub. Now, they do give you one of those non-slip mats, but I just don't use them because I usually don't need to. But yeah, so I'm reaching up cautiously because like it's a slippery shower and I've got like, you know, shower gel everywhere. Yeah, so I just like, I'm reaching up, I'm trying to change the settings, and still like nothing changed the shower pressure. So like I knew it was the pressure and not just the setting on the shower head. So that was like also hell annoying. So yeah, got the shower done, the cold room temperature shower. It was so sad. Now the hotel does account for the fact that they do operate on a busy street. And the good thing about the hotel is once you step outside, you're right by the streetcar stop, which is great because I was heading down King Street anyway to get to my event. But it also can be a bad thing just because it is pretty loud. So what they did was they give you earphones or little earplugs for when you're sleeping at night to kind of like say, hey, we acknowledge that, you know, we're on a busy street, but we got you. So I didn't use them just because I'm a pretty sound sleeper, especially when I'm slightly inebriated. So I didn't need them, but even when I was like showering and changing and stuff, I really didn't notice the noise too much. So maybe it was just like a precautionary thing. So I will give them props for that. Now the bed, that's probably what everyone wants to know about. It was pretty comfy. Usually when it comes to hotels, I can't really sleep on their beds soundly. It's just because I like my bed at home the way it is, and it's just nothing else can compare to that. So to sleep on hotel beds is a bit of a challenge for me. But I actually found that I actually got a good night's sleep, and I even dreamt. I know they say like you always dream, but like actually knew that I dreamt. So that was like good. So I know I got like a decent night's sleep. Overall, the hotel is pretty standard. It's very, very basic. Like I said, it's super tiny. It's made for one person, which is exactly what I expected. So if you think you're gonna get, you know, a nice big room, if it's just you and you're booking through a third-party site, probably want to think again. The one thing I did like is that it was removed from the elevators, which is something that usually is the opposite of when I book through a third-party site. So I did like that. Now, the cleanliness. This is a bit of like an interesting one for me just because I felt like overall the hotel was clean, the room was clean, but there was just like little pockets of like dirt along the side of the walls, specifically near the little mini bar area. I don't know if I got footage of that, but if I did, I'd probably insert it now. If not, then we're just awkwardly looking at my face, so hi. I'm gonna say dusty because grimy makes it sound really gross. It was more dusty. So they just could have done like a better job of that. And also I noticed like little strands of like hair on the desk. And there was also a strand of hair in the washroom near the amenities that they give you. So I didn't use any of the shower gels, so just cause like I knew that someone had used it before me and I'm just very like anal about that stuff. So didn't use it, can't tell you how the products are. But yeah, that's just like my personal preference. So yeah, I felt like the cleanliness, like the bed was nice. It was really clean and I'm very, very like particular about the cleanliness of the bed. It was okay. It's just the room overall, I felt like it just wasn't as clean as it could have been. So yeah, that was my night's stay at the Hyatt Regency downtown Toronto. Will I stay there again? Probably not. I just felt like first impressions are very important and it just didn't make the cut. And I know that there's probably gonna be someone that says, okay, well, you get what you paid for, you booked through third party. And like, I totally get that, but there have been so many other bookings that I've done through other third party sites where I got rooms that were just absolutely amazing and the staff is just super friendly and then they just go above and beyond to make you feel like you're welcome there. And so my thing was, with the whole like annoying keycard situation and the whole annoying shower situation, and you know, I don't like to be that one complaining guest. It's just like, if I was someone who was a more difficult guest at that hotel, they probably would have been hearing like from my lawyer. No, I'm kidding. But they probably would have heard like an earful from me. And then it's like, even when I was checking out, the concierge didn't even ask like, oh, how was your stay? Because usually that's kind of like where the point where I get very honest and they say, how's your stay? And I'm like, either it was okay, or it was good, or it was bad, or whatever. But since he didn't ask me, I was just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna stay silent and then do my review on, you know, online. So it's like, they just didn't like go above and beyond in any way. I felt like it was just kind of, it was a nice place to crash when, you know, I couldn't go all the way back up to where I live. But there's other hotels that I could stay at and for the exact same price. So I'm probably just gonna overlook this one moving forward. This is just what I personally experienced. So hopefully it was helpful. If not, not sorry. So, okay, bye.